Being very entitled and controlling, narcissists have no difficulty stepping all over your personal boundaries. So that's why I put together an extensive video class called This Is Me. It has 25 videos, written documents, guided questions. I'm going to teach you how to have healthy boundaries. There's a link below, and I hope you'll find it to be quite therapeutic. Do you aspire to be a person who is in a growth mode, that you are committed to your own personal development? I certainly hope that to be the case. None of us is such a completed project that we have nothing that we need to improve upon. So I'm hoping that's something you're committed to. When you are in a growth mode, there are two necessary ingredients that will help you in that process, that from the inside out. And those two necessary ingredients are humility and honesty. And I'm going to get to those in just a moment. When we talk about the narcissist, and I know many of you have asked, well, can narcissists change? Can they grow? Can they make adjustments? There are two characteristics that they carry on the inside of themselves that are the opposite of that humility and honesty. And those two characteristics are what I call the two Ds, the D of deservedness and the D of deception. Those characteristics can be so strong and so central to how they engage with other individuals that they're laid low when it comes to growth and maturation. And I want to break that down for you and have you have an idea of what this looks like and how they think that keep them stuck in a non-growth kind of way. Let's take a look at that first D and get an idea of how they think that keeps them in that attitude of deservedness. When narcissists engage with the general public, or specifically with you, they may be thinking something to the effect of, there are chumps out there in the world, and then there's me. And they can have such a sense of specialness and a sense of their own uniqueness. They don't have any notion that says, well, you can be special and unique too. It's like, well, no, you're just a chump. We need to go ahead and acknowledge how I'm pretty different from everybody else. That sets up their attitude of deservedness. Then in addition, another way you can see that they think that way is they have lots of expectations. And it's like, I require you to cooperate with what I expect out of you. And again, it's one of these things that says, well, it's okay to have expectations, but they take it to the point where they're not just expectations, but they're commands, their orders, their duties that you are obliged to live into. In addition, their deservedness can be shown by them thinking, you need to show some admiration toward me. They're very needy. They have a hunger for other individuals to give them the attaboys or attagirls and pats on the back. It's like, well, I need that, and I deserve that. It's something that everybody needs to know once they get to know me. And then there's another element that's part of their deservedness, and this is a really large one. And that is, whenever they have made major blunders or moral mistakes, they still can have this notion that says, you don't have the right to ask me hard questions. You don't have the right to hold me into accountability. This is something I see sometimes when people have had an extramarital affair and now they're being questioned about it, or there's been some sort of major financial blunder or secrets that are now coming to light, or it could be that there's been a domestic dispute and something that's really ugly and they've managed themselves very poorly. They may superficially say, well, okay, I blew it. But then when you start saying, we've got some serious work to do, it's like, you're asking too many questions. That's their deservedness. I don't deserve you to do this. I still deserve all that special treatment. And that's an enormous red flag that says they are not at all in a growth mode, even if they try to tell you that they are. In addition, they can think that if you refuse to go along with their requests, you're going to be sorry. Because they'll come at you with a bully mindset. They can have unruly anger toward you. They can be punitive, even if they're the ones who have the greater strains and difficulties in the relationship. It's like, I deserve to be the one in charge, and the anger is their way of letting you know, and it's going to be painful for you if you don't go along with me. That's how entitled I really am. Part of their deservedness can be shown when they think out loud or to themselves, I don't compromise. I mean, why should I? You don't know as much as I know, and you don't have the right to correct me. You don't have the right to confront me. All of that is part of their deservedness. And you can see that that really lays a person low if their goal is to have any kind of personal development or growth. And then taking it a little bit further, let's take a look at that second D, and it's the D of deception. And there are multiple indicators that we have there that the deception actually is an extension of their attitude of deservedness. Narcissists in their deception are very defensive. It's like, you're not going to get to know me very well, because if you try to ask me hard questions, I'm just throwing my wall of defense up, and they rationalize and justify. That's their deception. It's like you will not be able to get inside and find out who the real me is. Instead, they have a very deep commitment to image control. It's very important for them to look the right way, whether it's actually accurate or not, that's another story. In addition, when you do try to talk with them about mistakes or things that need to be corrected, and that's a big one, but if they do begin to reveal some of their own imperfection, it tends to be very shallow. It tends to be incomplete. These are individuals who are willing to lie about who they are, or sometimes they don't overtly lie, but they lie by omission. And by that, I mean, it's just like there's just going to be certain things that I'm just not going to divulge. That's part of their deception. These individuals can be evasive emotionally. They can be evasive physically. They have so many reasons that they don't want to be open because of their vices or immorality or wearing masks with whoever they are. And so they'll let people know only on a need-to-know basis. That's part of their deception. Accountability, as far as they're concerned, is interpreted as you being intrusive. So when we ask, are you in a growth mode, narcissists can't say that they are, because they're so strongly influenced by their own attitude of deservedness and then the accompanying attitude of deception. Now, let's go back to those two ingredients that I mentioned at the top, humility and honesty, and let's give a contrast. When a person commits to humility, first, they're going to start with the notion that says, I know that I'm an incomplete person. I have never gotten all of the answers completely finished. I'm a work in progress. And in fact, I actually embrace the fact that there's more growth ahead of me. Likewise, in humility, they can think when other people have insights regarding me and the way that I do life, good. I like receiving input from other individuals, and I want to know who they are and where they're coming from, because they may have an angle that I just haven't thought about. That's humility. By the way, that implies empathy as well. When I fail, and if you're around me long enough, you're going to see me fail. We're going to admit I'm imperfect, and I'm going to be open to whatever accountability or input that you might have to offer me relative to all of that. Even in the midst of my strains and difficulties, there's going to be a humility that says, rather than I'm going to throw the wall up, I want to know what you think, and I want to know how I can glean from your wisdom and insights. When you are operating with that mind of humility, you realize it's not my job to fill others with me. And so I'm just going to be who I am. I don't want to have this high control mindset. And then along with that, then when I discuss my ideas or suggestions, it's going to be just that. I'm not going to be somebody that just pushes myself so much. I'm going to let my experience, and I'm going to let my modeling be my best argument for who I am. I'm going to welcome another individual's input. That's what we're talking about when we say having a sense of humility. And then when we talk about honesty, we're taking humility then to another level. The honest individual says, when we encounter one another, we are going to start with that notion that says you're a mixed bag just as I'm a mixed bag. I'll admit when I'm wrong, and it's liberating, and I want you to be able to admit when you're wrong. It's called being a safe person toward other individuals, and you want to create that kind of atmosphere. Integrity is central. That's part of being an honest individual. And by the way, integrity is not an obligation or a duty. It's just something that you select because it makes sense over the alternatives. When difficult topics arise, I'm going to show you respect so that we can discuss those in a clean kind of way. And then with honesty and humility, you realize that ultimate intimacy and closeness is built upon knowing each other's imperfections, and you embrace it. You each know of one another's strains or hurts or confusion, and you say, in our humanity, let's embrace one another and let's help one another in a mutually gratifying way. Narcissists are committed to their own attitude of deservedness. They're committed to their own attitude of deception, and as a result, any efforts that they may think that they're making towards personal growth are just going to be laid low, like I say, and they just continue to perpetuate strain and tension in their primary relationships. There's a question that I'd like to ask a narcissist for them to ponder, and that is, do you understand the emptiness that goes along with those two D's of deservedness and deception? And you know what? I would not expect a straight answer. They're not honest enough. They're not humble enough to say, yeah, I understand that. I've got a lot of work to do. I'm hoping you, though, can realize that there's a much better way to go. You don't want to be a person that goes into those two D's, but you live with that humility and honesty. And in doing so, you position yourself for a lot of emotional maturity and growth along the path. Isn't that what this life is all about? Now, I hope the videos such as this can give you some good food for thought, and I like to do these compare and contrast because it gives you an idea of where you can go and how you can respond to these individuals who are not in a growth mode at all. If you've not already hit that subscribe button, Gus and I'll keep more videos coming your direction, and as you watch them, you can see there can be a cumulative effect. Likewise, if you have a need for therapy, and I know sometimes you don't have somebody that's available right there physically in front of you, I have an online therapy source that I've been sponsored by for years now, the people at betterhelp.com. There's a link below that can take you to their website. I've had so much good feedback from other individuals, and it's accessible and it's affordable. If you have a need, I would strongly encourage you to go into that direction. By the way, if you sign up through the link, you get a 10% discount on the first month. Likewise, I have my therapeutic classes. It's like signing up for an online course, and each class has their videos, multiple videos and written documents, guided questions. We have Ready, Set, Connect about making good connection skills. This is me, finding yourself despite those controllers, free to be with respect to your boundaries. We also have my webinars that have already been presented, and you can still purchase them. We have my podcasts and our YouTube channel, our website with many articles on there, my books and plenty of resources for you to avail yourself to. Narcissists are way too committed to the two D's, deservedness and deception. I'm hoping you can be committed to honesty and humility, and in doing so, it positions you to be a person of strength, and also it takes you into a place that they're not able to go, because you're going to be able to access a mind of steadiness and a mind of peace. I so want you to find peace.